Hello, I'm Gary Lyon and welcome to Access All Areas. A great weekend of footy with teams making a charge for the top 4 and the top 8. But Damien Barrett, the team that fell out of the top bracket, the Sydney Swans, have got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they do, Gaz. The issues are now very serious, and we can trace their drop-off back to the grand final of last year. They had another issue early in the season with the way their scores drop off after half-time. In the past 6 weeks, it's now damning information coming out of this club by way of what is happening in this footy season.
It's more so against the big teams, Damo. I think this is a side that have got enough talent to be able to deal with most of those sort of lower opposition teams. But these are the sides that are genuinely contending. And we'll put Geelong in because it's the most recent. But these are heavily scored against in various parts of the game, and this would be the great concern for John Longmire.
Look, that's Melbourne Footy Club stuff, and I say that in the context of what those scores represent.
Well, could you say St Kilda or someone like that?
Well, let's go with Melbourne, but the drop-off's profound, isn't it?
It is, and it's unlike Sydney, and that's the thing that concerns me. I mean,
it was unlike Sydney. Well,
yeah, and but on Saturday night there were unlike Sydney moments. You know, a little 5-minute bracket, game in the balance, third quarter. All of a sudden, here you see Reece Shaw, loses the contest, then falls over. That's a sign of a player coming to the end. Teddy Richards, OK, you can lose a one-on-one contest against Tommy Hawkins. That's going to happen. But there were these broken tackles. I mean, Kurt Tippett had him wrapped up, able to get out and find a target. And even Dan Hanbury at one stage, Kennedy just allowed to run away Josh Caddy. This is the leadership core of this group who, at this period, generally grit their teeth, and they didn't.
Gary, you're loath to write teams off before it's fully played out, but this team now cannot win the premiership this year. Surely you can see that now.
If they don't finish in the top 4, they can't. No, they're sliding, Damo. I mean, when the other sides are gathering themselves for the right time, we saw Freo and Hawthorn gather themselves. This side's going the wrong way. So they have got lots of work to do. And whether or not Buddy Franklin back in can change it or not, I'm not sure.
Yep. Joel Selwood, the captain of the team that beat them on the weekend, goes, his CV in the first 200 games of this extraordinary career matches up with anyone's.
He's the best all-round Geelong player I've seen. He's the best all-round Geelong Football Club player that I have seen.
And there's 2 Ablets who played for
the
Geelong.
Best all-round player at Geelong Footy Club. His leadership, consistency, his ability to seize the moment. Not the best, Damo, the all-round best. The way he sets the standard for that football club, the way he takes responsibility and ownership for the culture, for the standards and the way he drives them, I have got him ahead of the 2 Ablets. The 2 Ablets are better footballers in terms of skill and talent and all those sorts of things, but his buy-in and his willingness to try and lift this side and take it with him has him, for me, the best all-round Geelong Footy Club.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to stand by it. His record, by the way, is pretty handy as well, would stack up against the Ablett boys. And look, I know they're more brilliant, but they didn't take as much ownership of the whole place as he did. And he's the best all-round for mine, and it was great to see him.
Adam Goods goes, played his return game to footy after sending the weekend. Look, I liked it. I think it was pretty respectful. Just listen here. There were murmurings of booing early on. But
well, again, Damo, let's not be naive. There would be some portion of that crowd that would have agreed with the circumstances or seen it in the same light that we have, or the vast majority have, and they waited generally until he made a mistake or got tackled, and not all of them, but the vented. So, class act from Geelong and for all the people who were down there.
Yeah, I think overall quite respectfully done by Geelong. The worry or the fear is that what happens now, back in Sydney next week, and he's got a few more
remaining games are at home, so that's going to help, you would imagine. So
I'd like to think that's it, though.
Let's hope so, Damo, because we've had enough of it, and we haven't had enough of the Hawks, though, who just find a way to win. And they look like they're going to go down against the West Coast Eagles, but they just found a way. The last 3 goals tell the story. Look at this from Puopolo here. Just this little deft touch.
Great push-off by Bruce, too.
If that was Cirioli, they'd still be saying Cyril, but it was Puop, and he's great. They found a way here. Just class act, quick hands, under pressure. Puopolo again.
Yeah.
I thought he was outstanding when the crunch was on. And then, again, clean in congestion.
How can you be so clean in congestion?
Well, because it's habit. Look at this. I mean, it's not the best play, but it is the Hawthorn boys who are first at it and the cleanest by hand. So Bruce, quick hands. Again, Shields, quick hands. And then a class finish from Rough. 3 goals, found a way to win. They got headed and found a way to win. So look out.
Guys, let's go to the third term. There's a passage of play here where every single player can be seen within the one down-the-ground shot. And We talk about congested footy. How can this happen? These are meant to be the two free-scoring, free-running teams.
Because these are two coaches with the same philosophies, basically. You got Clarkson and the Clarkson disciple in Simpson, who say, let's get numbers around the footy, you know, let's try and squeeze it up. And it's the way they play. Opens up, you know, at times, but for those sorts of sides who are so well disciplined or believe so much in that structure, you're going to get a lot of that. We saw a different game yesterday at the MCG where it was open and free flowing. So you get what the coaches want to give you and the bottom line, and that's fair enough as well. Hey, the Bomber review you alerted us to last week. It's underway. They got out to a fair start against the GWS boys yesterday, and then they gave up 11 goals to 4 after half-time.
It's in keeping with what's happened in the back half of the season. Look, the review goes, as far as I can tell, it's already 3 weeks into, and there are outside consultants being used. The key one of those is Neil Danaher, and he's not going to be involved unless he's going to have a proper say. So for the club to say it's a big picture review and it's not necessarily specifically directed at individuals, it is, okay? The coach is under enormous pressure as a result of this review. So too is Neil Craig, Rob Kerr, the recruiting department, every facet of the footy club.
James Hird.
It's well and truly, guys, under review in that position. Even though he's contracted and the club can say it's a big picture review and it's a normal review, it's not when you're bringing in outside people like Neil Danaher. And as I said, it's already, at least as far as I know, 3 weeks old, this review already.
Well, performances like that aren't going to help James Hird. I mean, he's been given the guarantee, but they need to be more competitive. The Dogs, what about this footy side? What about the story that is Luke Beveridge?
Yeah. I just want to ask you, they should not be ruling out a premiership this year in their minds, should they?
No. Top 4, any side that... Well, the top 4 now, whether they can hang on is another thing. Any side that finishes top 4 is a genuine live chance of winning the flag. And look, internally, how they deal with it to externally would be poles apart.
Yeah, I think it is. It is, yeah. Dangerous tackles, guys. It's been a theme throughout the course of the season. A couple more examples on the weekend. Take us through this.
Well, I agree with that. Fasolo had the option of not slinging him. He could just drag into the bat, and that's the one where, had he not put his arm out, hits his head, gets knocked out. So free kick, good.
Yep.
This one,
okay,
maybe just falls to the ground. The fact that he lifted him and dropped him is the reason why they say, okay, dangerous tackle. I reckon another 3 or 4 weeks of umpiring like that, and that'll be gone, and the risk of those head-eye injuries. So I don't mind the free kicks being paid like that at the moment.
Yep.
You've got to know the rules.
You do.
That's the bottom line. Paddy Ryder, did he know the rule?
I wouldn't have thought so, guys, because he takes the option of hitting
the ball. Was he trying to hit it
to
old mate Jasper Pittard, who's standing near the goal line?
Are you giving him the benefit of the doubt for that ridiculous bit of play here? Because I don't think he was trying to do that, guys.
No, because you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't hit the ball into the last line of your defensive goal line. So, yeah, staggering, but it can happen every now and then. Hey, Stephen May's a player who's courted some controversy over the journey, Campbell Brown incident, all those sorts of things, but gee, I tell you what, he was aggressive against This is the acting captain, Tommy Lynch, he's getting into here. And it was a consistent theme from Stephen May. Now, whether or not he said
is, and look, you see it again here, guys. Look, I like it as a rule, but it's a fine line. And can you go too far? Well, this is him again firing up, and there's another.
He gives a 50, and then there's Salman Saad who gets sold some candy, and he's not happy. He's not happy. It is a fine line, Damo.
I don't like it when it's that regulatory game. I think you can let him off 1 or 2 times.
It's very overt, isn't it? But I mean, sometimes when you're in drastic situations demand drastic action, Damo. And maybe Rocket Eade said, boys, we are too soft on each other as a footy club and have been for a long time.
Yep.
Now let's start setting some standards. And so maybe you've got to overcompensate to get it back to where it needs to be.
There's a drastic situation in this game on the weekend, Gaz, where 2 old-timers, shall we say, Scotty Thompson and Jack Revell, just wouldn't give the ball back.
No. Neil Danaher, when he came to Melbourne coach, this was one of his rules. Whoever is last on the pack has to be the bloke hand the footy back to the umpire. It was just a little mental thing for Neil Danaher. He said it was just psychologically, say we win those battles. I don't know whether that was the case for those 2 boys, but the umpire was a bit bemused about it. And then the great story of Levi Casbolt we saw last week. Levi kicked a goal, young kid marked it, who happens to be named Levi.
And where's 41?
We think is the only number 41 in the country. Did the double cobra. They met through the week. He was down at the footy club. Levi presented him with a footy. He said, if I kick one, I'll give you the double as well. And he did it. So nice.
I like it.
Feel-good story, Damo.
Nice way to finish the access today, Gary.
And we're going to just get into a zen situation and enjoy footy. Thank you for watching Access All Areas. We'll be back next Monday. Goodbye.